No mai, haere mai, and welcome to Cult Chat, the show where we talk about coercion, control, and all things cultish. I'm Dr. Caroline Ansley. I'm a medical doctor. When I was a child, I lived at the Centrepoint community, a notorious cult in New Zealand, and now I co-lead the Cult-Informed Professional Network.
And I'm Liz Gregory, and I lead the Gloriavale Leavers Support Trust. We've been helping people exit Gloriavale for over a decade, and it's such a privilege to journey with them as they rebuild their new lives.
And I'm Lindy Jacob. I'm a former member of the Exclusive Brethren, and I lead the Olive Leaf Network, a charitable entity that supports leavers of high-demand religious groups.
Come with us as we unpack the cult playbook. We'll be talking to experts and leavers of coercively controlling groups, and we will call for Kiwis to cult-proof their lives.
Join us as we traverse the cultiverse.
A warning, this podcast contains references to subjects and discussions which may be difficult for some people to hear. Please take care of yourselves and your whānau when listening.
Hello and welcome to Cult Chat. It is so wonderful to be together again in the studio with my buddies, Lindy and Liz. It's just wonderful to be together here. How are you guys going?
Can't wait to talk about chickens and mice again, Cal.
Please.
No, we're on something else today. I just have a funny feeling. Yeah, we're going to be talking about what happens when you get too busy in life and you have to outsource some of your home duties to like other groups or appliances or people.
I was actually talking with Kaz this morning as I watched her unload the dishwasher and everything about. I've got a lot of friends who live in countries overseas who've got like maids and gardeners and masseuses and chefs. And I was just like, actually, I know it's not very fair economically on those people, but oh my gosh, how life-changing that would be to have your own personal chef or gardener.
Oh, I'd go for the chef. I the other day I was driving on my ride-on lawnmower and Graham calls me Forrest Gump, you know. I really enjoyed mowing the lawns. But the other day I did start thinking, well, if we moved that fence just a little closer, I wouldn't have so many lawns to mow. And then for a fleeting moment, I wonder if I should pay someone to mow the lawns. And I thought, no way.
You can fly me down to do it.
I enjoy mowing lawns.
Yeah.
Anyway, but a masseuse.
But life is busy, right?
Yes.
And we do need to outsource.
Do.
And we do need to find ways to make life less complicated, right? That is just a reality, whether you, if you're a human on this planet.
You know, you could literally turn your phone off and my life would, significantly, shrink.
Well, today what we're going to talk about is about a tendency that we have as humans to take shortcuts and to be unthinking in our decisions in our lives.
Now, what's that got to do with cults, Kaz? We're called Cult Chat.
It's got to do with cults because when it comes to persuasion and influence, cults are masterminds at utilising our unthinking, knee-jerk, reactive, automatic thinking processes which rely on shortcuts.
Oh,
cognitive shortcuts.
So they use them for what purpose? To sell their product to us, to recruit,
to benefit their profiteers.
Their vision.
Yes, whatever it is their vision is. And it's not just cults that do this, it's anyone selling anything to you. Whether they're selling a product to you, whether they're trying to convince you a dream, whether they want to get you to join their company, whether they want you to adopt their idea, their fad, whether they just want your attention. Look at this thing of mine for some time. So we're in a world where our attention, our money, our beliefs, whatever is constantly being pulled towards whoever is the most successful at gaining our attention. That is the world we live in, right? And I think many of us believe that we're highly objective, we make our own rational decisions, we think through what we do, and we make the right choice for us at the time. But that is simply not the truth.
No, we are not immune, and we know that for a fact because people actually get recruited into groups that are harmful.
Yeah.
So we're not immune, and we know fact is it's not about their intelligence. It's not always about them having an entire vulnerability, although often there's a point or a season in your life where there may be some vulnerability. And we know, though, that these people who try to sell something like a dream or a product or something to hook you in for harmful purposes, that they are looking for a hook or a way in. And I'm guessing you're going to be talking about some aspects of...
Well, I want to widen this one back. We're not just talking about cults here today, but we want to step back and understand how influence works, how persuasion works, and how we comply. Whether we choose to comply or we automatically comply without realizing we are complying to something that we didn't choose. Okay. So it's about getting into the building blocks of compliance. And influence. This is beyond, this is wider than cults, but it's very important when understanding tactics and control.
Like ultimately to help you to cult-proof your life, of course. But some of it is around just kind of like that whole a fish doesn't know the sea it's swimming in. You're kind of saying, hey, here are some tools or some things to think about to help the fish recognize the sea you're swimming in. You're saying that influence and persuasion is all around us, but like how can we recognize it more accurately?
Recognize it. And influence is not a bad thing. Persuasion is not a bad thing. It's part of humanity. Yes. The thing is when it's exploited or used against us or used to benefit someone else when it's causing us harm. So today's take-home messages are that we can and we do say yes when it is not in our best interest to do so. And we need to recognise that. So this is about helping us to understand when that's happening. The persuasion techniques are normal, part of being normal people, and they're dangerous in the wrong hands when used against us. And that we need mental shortcuts to survive life. If we make them explicit, we can notice when they're being used to exploit us. Right. And we can also understand when we are choosing to use a shortcut. And a shortcut would be the example earlier in the day, Linda and I were talking about mental shortcuts, and we were talking about how, there's kind of two types of thinking, right? There's that kind of easy thinking, like 2 times 2 is 4. Do you have to think about that? No. You know it. Versus 187 by 56.
Come on, Lindy. I did used to teach maths.
You have to think about that, and it kind of hurts to think, right? And you don't have to think about the first one. In fact, you cannot not. Yeah. It just happens. It's an automated cognitive action.
Because I was taught it. I did have to have some initial input of information in my brain at some point in my life.
Yeah, cool. And so we were talking earlier about how it is sometimes we can be in situations, and it's different for everyone because we all have different knowledge and skills and interests, where we can be in a situation where we actually feel like our brain is powering down. And I was talking about how I've got this event coming up, and I was at the event location, and this guy was talking to me about the event. And he's putting the event on, right? He's the host of the event. And he was saying to me, he was talking about wine and alcohol and seating and the PowerPoint and adapter plugs. And as he was talking, he was just getting more and more blah, 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 blah.
Parker doesn't listen to this. Like was the Simpsons. Like Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah. More and more, and as the more and more details, and I could feel the decisions just mounting up one after another. Where's the seating going to go? When is the alcohol going to come out? When are we going to get that adapter plug? Which computer are we going to bring out to do the PowerPoint?
Okay,
and just all
boring me. Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah. He said to me at one point, "You look very overwhelmed." And what was happening in my brain was my fudge shut down. There was something about these decisions that was too much for me.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and I went, "You know what you're doing? You can decide for me. So I trust you." So I took a mental shortcut.
So you were supposed to be helping with this event. This is your big one that ended in a 0.
It's my event. Right. Okay, so there was a decision that I had to make that involved, for me, not for him, for me, a lot of cognitive heavy work, and I did not want to do it. So what was being triggered there is a desire. What I needed to do was some controlled thinking. I needed to look at all the information, analyze it, thoroughly process it. I had to be able to think critically through it. I had to care about it.
Cold decision making.
And I had to have the ability to think through it. And it was effortful mental activity that required my attention and included some complex calculations involving agency, choice, and concentration. So that is a hard decision that I didn't want to do because I didn't care. All right. So what I wanted to do and what I ended up doing in that moment was the other kind of thinking.
Were you just felt it apt to all flow? Why didn't you ask ChatGPT?
Oh, I could have. Automatic, mindless compliance is the other kind of thinking.
Okay.
All right?
I see where you're going.
So say, and admittedly, there was a little step in there which I went, I think he can do it for me. But that's what I really wanted to do. Say yes without thinking, make automatic, quick, few efforts, and not really a lot of voluntary control. So I want to describe to you the work, this is where I'm heading, of Robert Cialdini. So he's a psychologist, American psychologist, who wrote a book called The Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. He's written a bunch of books. And in this book, he breaks down these different ideas: automated thinking and controlled responding. And he talks about this idea of we must have mental shortcuts to survive the complexity of life. We can't approach every life decision and deal with that cognitive overload that I was having trying to figure out my party plan. We can't deal with that all the time. We just simply can't manage it in life. So what we have to do is mental shortcuts. And he talks in the book, Dr. Cialdini talks in the book about a click run process. So that's when a trigger triggers us into pressing like a click on a mouse to run a program. So it's a trigger that we trust that then sets us off down the path of putting the program in, setting the program, it runs, and we don't need to do any thinking. The trigger tells us we're safe just to do a shortcut in our thinking,
Right.
So he's looked at 7 different levers of influence, so he calls them, that trigger a
compliance,
a click run, put the program in, click the program, and off you go. And I don't need to do any more thinking because I know, I just trust you because you've triggered this response.
That's so interesting. Like, for example, seeing a uniform, like did the man have a uniform saying event manager, and so you were like,
what he had, there were three things. As he was talking to me, he talked about all the parties that he had at the event station, all the things that people at previous parties had liked.
Okay, all right.
Okay, lots of
so
people.
you were like, okay, his experience. So here's what he's doing.
Yeah,
well, no,
lots of people have liked what we've done here.
So you should like this too.
Yes. So that was one thing. I'll go into that. Another thing he did was he was very friendly. He was quite a good-looking guy. He was very socially engaging.
Yeah.
And I liked him.
Love bombing.
No, he was just being likable. He was just being likable.
Charming.
So that's a third. Yeah. A second one. And the other one was, let me just think what it was. I liked him, the social proof. And authority. So he was the authority, and he was a manager. The event centre had said, this guy knows what he's doing. We trust authority. So there's 3 influence techniques. There was a click run. I went, trust this guy. Away we go. I have given my agency around the party to this man.
Wow. Great.
So I took some mental shortcuts. So that's my example. All right. So let's go into some greater detail talking about these 7 different levers of influence.
And we're going to, I'm guessing, look at these in the context of culture groups.
Yeah.
Because obviously influence and power, it's those dynamics really that are right at the heart of how people firstly get involved and then remain and then get entrapped in these groups.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. And also I want to introduce another
metaphor.
Well, You've recently been talking, actually quite a lot recently, Liz, about a new love in your life.
Oh, and you love in my life. Oh,
A new love. I think it might be a couple of years old even. Your love for the Thermomix.
oh, that's a new love. Yeah, starry-eyed. Yeah, literally. Yeah, 3 or 4 months old, that love.
Was that only that?
Oh, yes, no. When I first started trying to, recruit my friend Lindy to the Thermomix Love Club, that was the beginning, the infatuation period.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as we go through these different levers of influence, I will be upskilling you on how you can more effectively recruit Lindy, who is yet to join the Thermomix Club. Can we just, before we go, would you just summarise for our audience those who may not know anything about the Thermomix?
Thermomix. Oh my gosh, I don't want to hear about the blinking Thermomix again.
I have to hear about chickens.
It's amazing. It's
I'm going on about ChatGPT or about Thermomix, these two loves of Liz's life. Sorry, Graham. Graham comes through.
Just briefly about
Look,
the
a
Thermomix.
Thermomix is an appliance. It sits on your bench, and basically you can kind of throw away all your other 55 appliances, Lindy, that you use to make food, because it's incredible. It cuts, but it also heats, and it sautés, and then it's very clever. It cooks, and then you put the thing on top, and there's like a steamer, and literally you come away with this great meal, and you've only got like one dish to wash.
Well, presumably it costs a bit.
Yes, and it does cost a bit. And so literally, you're right. Someone needed to work through the process of persuasion with me.
How did you get it?
And because I reckon we'll probably get to that, because the first way, I mean, I'm going to guess because I don't know what your first thing is, but it got introduced to me by someone I knew,
Someone you like.
and someone I liked.
With your clarity. Did they have a Thermomix uniform?
They did.
In a cool hat.
And they came into my house,
Thermomix.
and they told me how awesome it was.
Mm.
So was it a salesperson? No.
Someone else in the Thermomix family who is
Family.
trying to recruit.
You're a family now.
And it's a sell
It's a Thermomix. Gee, that's concerning.
To their
Thermomix family.
Did you know that half of the people in Germany, 50% of households have Thermomix? They're actually old. They're just quite new in New Zealand.
Okay.
Very
All right.
common.
Okay.
That's your Thermomix.
Okay. Everyone's familiar with the Thermomix, and yet to understand how deeply Lindy needs one. All right. Okay. So we're going to talk about the different levers, and recognizing that cults use them in high degrees, and the difference between us in our normal day-to-day experience of these 7 different levers of influence and those people in the cult is that us 3 get to have a break from these levers of influence in our day-to-day life. And if you're in a cult, you never get a break. Okay, so let's start with the first, which is liking. The principle of liking is we prefer to say yes to people we like or who like us or who we have something in common with. Influencers work to be more likable. Thoughts on that?
Totally. Charming. Thinking cult leaders always have this capacity to smile and be engaging. Charisma. Likeable. And to have it and talk about things that, of interest.
Yeah.
You always find common ground.
Yeah, physically attractive people are more effective at getting what they want and changing people's mind.
Interesting.
And we agree more with people who we think we are like, and praise, the obvious one. Praise. You're more likely to say yes if you're complimented. Particularly effective are compliments that happen behind your back.
And you hear about them through someone else.
Or compliments that are selected to give a person a reputation to live up to.
Ooh.
So then they perform the desired behaviour. So in this situation, how could we use liking to more effectively get Lindy
to buy a Thermomix?
To buy a Thermomix.
Oh, well, Lindy likes me, so what comes with that hopefully is some trust. And so she's going to let me into her home when I suggest that I'd like to show her something that she didn't realise she needs in her life because she's never heard about one before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some truth to that. Like, if I didn't like being around you and didn't trust you and didn't want you in my home, or like I'm just thinking of like a salesperson who comes to the door who I've got absolutely no connection with, I'm just trying to figure out how to get rid of them as fast as possible.
But
whereas you're right.
You out of curiosity.
Yeah, you would come into the house, you would sit up on the bench and I'll be like, oh my gosh, all right.
How about you compliment her kitchen?
Oh, I would. Yes.
And the orderliness with which she presents her meals And perhaps
But that's not true.
then you definitely need a Thermomix, because actually it's good for people who are like me, time poor, but a lot of people who are fantastic with food are foodies. They all have them.
Oh, well, I'm not a foodie though. I like good food, but I do not like preparing it. It's boring.
you could mention to me so I could pass on to her how much you think her cooking is. It could be so much better, or you know, if only.
I'm trying to keep my friend Lindy.
No, like just thinking of ways that you could compliment her behind her back, but also give her an opportunity to live up to.
Yes. See, yes.
Yeah,
Because we're trying to, at this
Well,
point.
tell you what, do you know what? I do enjoy, I really love having people over. I like socialising. And the thing that daunts me every time is that, oh gosh, like I can't cook for them. I love having people over, but I am like, oh no, like
We have a lot of clients.
well, let's like just get takeaways, because I just feel completely overwhelmed at the thought of cooking for them. And that's why sometimes jokes I had to leave the brethren, because that, but okay, so I can see how that would work, because you could be like, hey, Lindy is a great host, but her cooking means that I want to help, so enter the Thermomix, and maybe shining up.
Maybe we can associate the Thermomix with something that you already value and think is wonderful, like maybe a celebrity.
Uber Eats.
Or
A celebrity. Okay, right. So you're appealing now to a higher.
well, it's
or someone.
If there was a celebrity, is there a celebrity or a musician that
No,
you would
no, I don't care about anyone.
or someone, a good friend of yours maybe that you really admire?
She has one too.
So what
I think you'll find probably 10 or 15 or 20 of your friends have them, and I don't know.
Yeah, well,
It's
you're
impossible.
already leaping to social proof.
Social proof.
You're already leaping to social proof. See, you know how to
What's
do this
social proof?
already.
I'm reminded that one.
So social proof is an important method people use to decide what to do or how to act, is to look at what others are doing. If many people are complying, the person is more likely to comply. By pointing to a thing or action's popularity, the influencer elevates
Definitely.
its popularity.
I'm thinking in cult context here. I'm thinking about the recruiting of perhaps some of the people in the early days of Gloriavale Spring Dance. They're out and they're looking for travellers and waifs and strays, and they're saying, oh, I was a traveller myself from Australia or America. Oh, we've got this community, and there are other people there, travellers like yourself, people similar age to you. And look, we're growing vegetables, we're helping the community. And so, you're social proof.
Social proof.
It's growing, it's exciting.
It's social proof is more powerful during times of uncertainty or ambiguity, when we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We look around us. The classic is you've wandered into a vineyard and there's a wine tasting going on, and everyone's
you don't know
drinking small sips and then spitting into this thing and swirling, and you're like, what do I do with that glass? Do I pick up, like you haven't got a clue what to do. You're not going to go and ask. So you just do what they're doing. Okay, you're more likely to do it if they're not.
You're a bit unsure, so you look to others around you.
Yeah. So it's
And I guess if you've got someone confident leading that crew, speaking with authority, and then others are listening, you're building the foundations for.
And the more people are doing something, so there's sheer numbers. So if 2 or 3 are doing something, nowhere near as powerful as 10, 20 or 30.
That is so true, because
It makes something valid and feasible.
it does, because when I was looking at getting the Thermomix, I was like, I'll let you come in my home and do that, but I'm not going to buy one. But by the end of the night, I'm going to buy one.
Because I found out.
Oh, they did a demo, and actually, I got to choose the meals. So I had ownership over which meals were going to be prepared in my house with the Thermomix during the evening. And then they get you to participate in it. So you got a buy-in. And so I was the one putting the chicken and onion and I learnt to push the buttons myself, and my friends did too. And then I found out all these other friends that had them, and I'm like, oh wow, if everybody else has one.
Exactly. So you've learnt that it's a valid choice by all these other people, that it's feasible. You can do it. You can do your life with.
Okay.
And so you need to be invited to one of your parties, so you can see all these people who are like you. Ideally, they're like you, so that you can put yourself in their shoes. And that it's feasible. So that would, it's important that you invite you to a Thermomix.
That would be people who are interested in say if it was a Christian fundamentalist cult that they're trying to recruit, you'd be looking to find people who are interested in spirituality or who have perhaps had a Christian background.
You'd go to a church and recruit from a church.
What Shincheonji does, because it's like how they already believe in the Bible. So there's this commonality thing.
Yeah, so it's feasible. So it's not, So like you'd be asking the young people in the university, do you believe in God? Yes, you're someone who believes in God. Come to my church.
My Bible study.
Yes, or my Bible study.
Brilliant.
And there's similarities. So you're more likely to follow if you believe the person is like you. Persuasion.
Yeah, I do remember, so it's probably Laura who we interviewed for Shincheonji. I remember a few Shincheonji ex-members have said that when they walked into the Bible study, one of the first things they noticed was that, these are young adults just like me, that they were kind of, because some people think that because it's from Korea, that like maybe it might be all Koreans running the group, whereas, all the ones I've talked to have actually been ex-members that are Pacifica or Pakeha, and they've all said that when they walked into the group that was the Bible study, that it was people of their same ethnicity, their same age, people who lived in the same region, and it was that similarity and that feeling of ease of these people are like me that completely disarmed them and put them at ease.
Yeah. Then they found out a few months later that most of them were plants. Yeah. Well, that's deceptive.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
So the goal of social proof from the persuader is to reduce uncertainty. Yeah. And I didn't mention this, and I'll go back to liking because I didn't mention this when we were talking about it. But the defence against social proof is cultivating a sensitivity to counterfeit evidence of what similar others are doing and recognising the actions of similar others should not form the sole basis for our decisions. So we need to cultivate an awareness when evidence of what others is doing isn't real. Like the
the group cultivates that.
No, in the person. This is your defence of how you would respond or make yourself prepared to counter social proof. So if this is a lever or a button that's pressed inside of you, let's just press that trigger button that sends you down this automated behaviour path. Like, how can you stop that button from being pressed inside of you? It sets you off in an automatic way without
I'm just thinking about the Thermomix. How would you do that? It would have to be that, you've sold it to me that all your friends have got it or something, but then I see that actually none of them do.
Or none of them use it. Or there's
or Google it and there's terrible reviews.
Or there's,
I'll sort of be like, whoa,
I got 3,000 on Marketplace.
Made the truth.
The sale.
But that could be true. That could be true. The point is not whether it's true or not. The point is a lever has been used to make you do an action that you haven't chosen. So it all could be true.
Yeah.
The point is you sit in yourself and you go, just because these 10 friends of Liz
love
the Thermomix, is this what I need?
Yeah.
I write my own.
Is this actually, I live in a tiny home and I've got no cupboard space, and
then you definitely want to Thermomix because you can get rid of your blender and your grater and your...
So just going back to liking, because I never told you how to defend yourself against the liking principle.
Well, while you find that, I'll just tell you that every day my husband uses it to boil eggs for lunch. That makes great
coffee.
Yes.
Did it make coffee?
Hang on.
Coffee.
So back to liking.
What is it, chickens?
Back to liking, because we moved on too fast. The goal of the persuader when it comes to liking, that's the whole idea of getting people to do stuff because you're a pleasant and an amiable person and they like you. It's all about cultivating a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the whole purpose, to build a relationship. And the defence, this is how you stop the button being pressed on you. I like this person, I just want to do what they say. Yeah. I like Liz, she likes the Thermomix, I'll buy the Thermomix because I like
this. What is it? I'm trying to think what it is. We need nasty thoughts about them.
We need to increase our sensitivity to the experience of undue liking. I've only just met this person. Why are they being so friendly to me?
So what do they want from me?
What do they want
from me?
Undue liking? Undue liking for, undue liking. Like, why is it suddenly that you're my best friend?
Be suspicious. I think that's what you say.
Suspicious.
Oh, that's fascinating, because once I had this girl try to recruit me to, it was like the group that's like Shincheonji.
The World International,
Worldwide International Church of God, something with lots of gods and international. It was like the way they all seem to do. But
World Mission,
World Mission Society Church of God. Anyway, I think that's the one. Anyway, it was a person who had done that, cold calling on Messenger thing of like, hey, lots of fun emoticons, come and join my Bible study in there. And I was like, oh, I'd like to meet you first. And this girl surprisingly agreed to come and meet me. And when she turned up, complete and utter stranger, she turned up with like a $30 to $40 bouquet of flowers.
Oh,
Like
too
a
much.
bigger bunch than anything my husband had ever bought me.
yeah, that's
And I was
Ding,
just
ding,
like,
ding.
ding, ding, ding. This is weird. Love bombing. So weird.
Yes,
Like, even if she just
exactly.
got like a $5 bunch of daffodils from the dairy because it was springtime or
still would have
something,
felt weird.
I would still been a bit weird. But like an actual full-blown thing,
Yeah.
wrapping paper.
Well,
whoa.
we're not all equally susceptible to these things, right? Yeah. So maybe you've already got like your red flags for someone who likes you too much.
Yeah.
But it's important that you ask, why do they like me so much? Why are they giving me so much attention? Why do I like them so much?
Why did they bring me muffins and aids with the Thermomix?
What do they want? Yeah, that's exactly. All right, so moving on, because we don't want to run out of time. So we've done liking.
It's so nice how far Lindy is down the Thermomix.
We've done social proof, reciprocity.
I am not a Thermomix consultant. I just need to tell you, I put boundaries up around it. I literally bought one and I use it. I do not sell them.
Okay, that's right. Caring that. Okay, so reciprocity. So this is, we all know this. This is a deep social rule. You do something for me, I have to repay you. It's deeply ingrained. It's what enables us to barter and have transactions and actually give something to someone else and not just be ripped off, is that they have to give something back.
Yes.
So this is always this is exploited all around you all the time. Okay.
Oh.
So like for instance, you get in your supermarket shopping, you might have a little gift in it. You know, a little sample from
Yeah.
the supermarket gave you, and I don't want that sample, but I've received it. Now maybe I need to continue to purchase from that supermarket. So that's reciprocity in action. The recipient is obligated to pay, to make a future repayment. It puts the control in the giver's hand.
Yes.
So I've given you something. I decide what to give you. I decide the size of it, and I decide the fact that now you have to give something back to me.
I'm going to go big on this one, and I'm going to make a statement around the Gloriavale culty sphere. You literally owe them your life. Like, they stand there and basically say that you'd go to the concerts and Hopeful Christian would say, look at all our children. He would put up a picture on the back wall, huge big picture, and it's a photograph they've taken with the mum and dad and the first two children that they would have had. And he puts it up and said, if we were out in the world, this is what our community would look like. And then he puts up the photograph of all the children who were in their family, whether they're older adults now or younger, who were the 3rd and 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th to 15th children, and would say, now, out in the world, these people would never have been born.
Wow.
There are literally times in there where it's been said to people, you owe us.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Like, you would not have existed if you were if it wasn't for Gloriavale. That's very
There are
powerful.
teenage kids in there.
Reciprocity.
There are kids in there, teenagers, who have been told by their parents how upset their parents were when they left, because you're not here now to help look after your other brothers and sisters and help your other sisters and their children. But when you were young, one of their older siblings or aunties came and looked after you, and now it's your turn to give back.
You're breaking the covenant of
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
We've invested in you, like in education, and like, are you going to stick around?
Yeah.
We've invested in you.
That's so. It's solely that the reciprocity rule applies even when it's unwanted. The gift that you've been given is unwanted, and it applies to uneven exchanges. So the power is all in the initial. Whoever initiates this exchange, the power is all in their hands. Okay, so they choose when it's given. They choose what comes back, whether it actually fulfills the debt. They start the exchange, and often you can give a small gift, and because that feeling of indebtedness is so uncomfortable, it's really common for a much bigger response to come. And also they get to choose if they start off with, say, look, I want to give you like this house, and the other person goes, no, I'm not going to accept that house. They can then offer a concession.
Okay.
So they can offer a much smaller thing, like if you're not going to take the house, take this bicycle instead, which forces you into an exchange. They must say, because they've given you a concession. You can see how you've been duped into an exchange. Yeah.
Very good.
So it's very powerful. So
I think this is really relevant to just thinking about how culty groups have their charitable fronts, because that's I've definitely seen this here where like the whole thing of like, do you look a gift horse in the mouth, like I remember a recipient might not want to question where the gift's coming from, because it's like, oh wow, we've been given this money, we've been given these whatever it is, food boxes or this support, like we don't want to question it, we just want to receive it. Wow. But inevitably those the gift giver, there's strings attached, and it might be just as simple as saying, oh, can we now have a social media post with you just saying how generous and wonderful we are for giving this thing. And, somebody who's unaware of this exchange that's happening might go, okay, sure, not realizing that by receiving this thing, you are validating the group and all that they are. It's not just a gift. It's coming with the string attached of validating bread ale or wherever it's come from.
So when I go down to the local agricultural show and I get my free hamburger from the Rapid Relief team, who are run by the Exclusive Bread,
and join in for a selfie with them
and have a selfie with them and promote their work.
You're applying into the reciprocity thing. You are,
and we're giving them a platform to stand on that makes them look more credible in the eyes of government agencies when they're under investigation.
You're giving them exactly what they need. That's the keeping they need.
This can be like there was one famous victim of the Jonestown massacre, the People's Temple. I can't remember that. Where the Kool-Aid was drunk by 900 people. Her name was Diane Louie, and she was one of the few who escaped. And she said afterwards, she actually said that the reason she thinks she was able to resist this forced suicide event was, I knew once he gave me those privileges, and she's referencing Jim Jones's previous attempts to woo her with gifts, he would have me. I didn't want to owe him anything. So you could say there was a reciprocity. You've done this for me before, Diane. I've done this for you before, Diane, and now you have to do this for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she owed him nothing.
Oh, and then once you start getting into that cycle of reciprocity, I think that comes where sunk costs come in. You've already given so much of, let's say, in the cult sphere. I've got people who've said this. I've spent like the best years of my life in there. What's the point now of like leaving? I'm only going to live another 10 years. Like I've already.
So if you think about the initiation, they control the initiation, and the size of the gifts escalate as you go on. The first receiving is critical, right? And so the defence for this, if you accept an initial favour or a concession in good faith, be ready to define it as a trick. This is a trick.
But who wants to live their life believing that that meal that you got from the group down the corner for the homeless is not a...
Yeah, but at some point it becomes obvious it's a trick.
Yeah. Like when your girl with the flowers for me, I was like, okay, cool, I enjoy these flowers, but this is a trick.
But it's a trick.
Nice trick.
It's a trick. Table. Exactly.
And
tricks don't require reciprocity.
Right. Yeah.
So be ready to kind of go, the reciprocity is a social rule that we all follow so that we can function socially.
Mentally, that you're buying it.
Is a trick.
Okay.
So moving on.
And aren't cult leaders great tricksters?
Oh, yes.
Masters.
So we all know, hang on, I've done social proof. We all know about authority. You mentioned it earlier. This is one that I think most people are very familiar with. We're socialised to defer to experts, those in positions of authority, and we underestimate our tendency to do so, with obedience to authority equated to correct conduct. Healthy individuals can be willing to make unethical decisions simply on the instruction of an authority.
And authority and authoritarian, they're linked.
Yeah.
Cults have authoritarian leaders and structures.
And it's usually adaptive to obey genuine authorities, right? Because we can't possibly exist in this world figuring everything out ourselves.
Just wondering about the Thermomix. Is the Thermomix stuff got lost because I couldn't figure out a reciprocity? But I'm thinking about the authority.
Or you allow her to, you lend her the lend her the Thermomix.
That's right.
For a week.
And the authority is that it's someone using it who is known to be a fantastic host and a great cook already without it, but their life is improved with this. That's, I'm an authority on it, but really we're more moving into authoritarian and obedience. Control.
One of the famous celebrity cooks in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I mean, to me, the authority thing with the Thermomix is partly that it's a capital T, it's a brand, it's a known product. Like, to me, that actually in itself, it's like, oh, this is a known brand. That carries authority to me. It's not just like a random machine that this is made in the back of your shed.
Yeah, all right.
It's like,
Okay. So when it comes to appealing to authority, the goal of the persuader is trying to reduce your uncertainty. Yes. We want you to make a decision. How can we convince you that this is a safe decision?
That reminds me of that shortcut thing with your brain, right? Like,
these are all shortcuts.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Right. Yeah. Well, it totally is, right? Like, I totally would hand over, it's very hard to not do that with police or medical personnel or whatever. If they say this is what you should do here, or I've just come in a plane, I watched the pilots walk in with their little uniform and their helmet, hat thing, and it's immediately you're like, uniform, you know what you're doing, trust you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to question your ability to fly the plane. I'll just do whatever you say.
Because it's way harder to go and sit down and do a course and figure out how to fly the plane yourself.
Can't possibly.
Or it's quite hard work going to med school, I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
And so most people just trust your authority because it's adaptive to do so. It's when it's exploited that is the problem.
And the authoritarian sort of charismatic leader, they're always going to position themselves as uniquely wise or chosen by God.
By God.
Spiritually gifted, if you're looking in the context of those Christian or the yoga cults, they've got the link to the divine and the ability to, the manifestation, and so you learn to defer to the authority figure.
Your spirituality.
Yeah. And your intuition.
So we automatically defer to anyone with a title, wearing particular clothing, or having trappings like cars or jewellery. They help us to defer to them. So it's a click run. It's like, I see these things, I trust what you say. So the thing there is, it's not that hard to put on a uniform, right?
No.
Yeah.
Like, catch me if you can.
Yes. Exactly.
So you're bypassing intuition and conscience.
Yeah. Things like, the walls of the diploma in the therapist's office. If you've got a wall full of diplomas, you're more likely to trust them.
Books.
Or apparently,
you have one behind you, and
someone who writes one single op-ed piece in a newspaper, their credibility ramps up. It's not very hard to get an op-ed piece.
That's it. Lindy.
Yeah. So again, the goal of the persuader is to reduce uncertainty, so you're more likely to agree with them. So a defence. So the question here really to ask yourself, how do I make sure I'm not just having a click run automated response to an authority, is to ask, is this authority truly an expert? So you can, it directs you away from all those symbols, the uniform, towards the actual evidence, and also how truthful are they? It's asked us to examine not just their knowledge, but their honesty.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't just automatically run the authority program and let someone just tell you what to do because of the trappings of authority. So moving on. So did we work out how you'd use authority on your side with the Thermomix?
Oh, yeah. Like the branding.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So commitment and consistency. This one is about appealing to your beliefs and your values, your words and your deeds, what you've said before.
Don't want to be seen as a scatterbrain, a skitterish, someone who just flighty.
Who burns food all the time.
No, if you've said before, I want to get fit, I can, as a doctor, appeal to that and go, look, last time I saw you, Linda, you said you wanted to lose some weight and get fit. So let's get serious about that. Let's go on this exercise program. So that's how you appeal to someone's previous commitments and desire to be consistent internally. We all want to be consistent internally. and if we've made a commitment to something, we want to honour it.
Ah, yes. I can see that with the Thermomix. I made a commitment because I didn't pay it off straight away. I was allowed to pay it off over time.
Right.
And so I remember now, every day, every week recently, time's gone on and the excitement sort of wore off, and I realised that in order to use the Thermomix, you still had to do grocery shopping and make some decisions about what it was you're going to eat. And maybe it's those bits I don't like it. No, I opened the fridge one day, literally to use my Thermomix, and realised there was really not much food in the fridge. And the point of that story was that I've committed some money paying each month. And if it sits there empty on my bench, I'm being
fallacy.
Yeah, but I'm being inconsistent.
Yeah,
and the fact that I got this and it was, and I raved about it and I've enjoyed using it, and then I got a bit lazy and I've...
If you've a thing to utilise this influence lever more effectively is to get a public commitment out of you, which is effortful and appears to be voluntary.
Oh, wow.
So you know what?
Oh, this is the vow, the Gloria vow, where you stand and make this commitment that you'll obey the leaders and and to the peril of your soul. If you ever think anything different, the vow is,
this is the commitment and consistency.
Yes.
Oh, and then they hold you to it.
And the thing about a commitment is that it's all about self-image. It gives information about who you are to yourself.
What's the point if it's like expected and coerced and you can't improve your life?
But that doesn't matter. You've made the commitment and you believe it's part of your self-image.
And don't worry, they're going to hold it over you.
And the thing about a commitment is it's self-perpetuating and long-lasting, and it persists even after the environment in which you made it in changes. Because it's part of your identity now.
People who leave Gloryvale struggle with this vow they took in there to promise that they would never leave Gloryvale to the peril of their soul.
You believe, I still believe, if you've made a vow, it's very important. It's not something.
And we're like,
how many of us have made a sort of a kind of commitment to a gym, or you start buying one Apple product and then you just have to keep on buying all of them, or this is the supermarket I'm going to, I'm loyal to it,
and it's so you've got scales there, you've got the supermarket analogy, then you've got the high control cult who's telling you the peril of your soul if you don't hold to it.
If we're struggling to not switch supermarkets, then
in between,
how much bigger is that commitment? That's extraordinary.
And then you've got the situation with the marriage vow at Gloria vow, utterly horrific. You're literally promising, as you stand there in front of the spouse, carefully chosen for you, as a woman, you read this out loud. If my husband ever leaves the church, I will not go with him. Wow. So you realise, and some people realise on that day, they just married like the leadership and the structure of Gloria vow, and they didn't really marry.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a powerful lever of influence that I want to be consistent to what I have said. Yes. So this goal is all about motivating action, and the defense, what we actually, because the influencers actually want you to take action. The defense is to learn to recognize when we're being pushed by our previous, by these strategies, to agree to requests we don't want to agree to. We shouldn't agree to things foolishly just for consistency.
Wow.
When we're not sure if it's the right thing, we should ask, knowing what I know now, if I could go back in time, would I make the same commitment?
You're assuming people still have thinking patterns and agency by now. You might be months into, say, a cult in recruitment where you're being asked to make it's normally months in after the hook. Yeah. You make these kind of vows.
You can't do this thinking in a cult.
No.
I'm talking about like that Gloryvale leaver a year later who's going, I'm still thinking like this. You'd ask yourself, knowing what I know now,
that's good.
If I looked back and would I have made that decision?
Yeah.
And that might help them.
That's good.
So we've still got two more. So we're going to rush through these last two. Scarcity.
Oh, because there's only 5 left in the country, the Thermomix. This deal is finishing at the end of March. It's the last time you're going to be able to get this one, and we've got a great special on, and you'll get 2 of these. Yeah, I actually fell for that. I got to confess, guys, it was probably the thing that actually clinched it. The price went down because it was the last of that particular model. They had a certain amount left in New Zealand. A new model was coming out. Well, I liked the old model.
Well, people are acutely sensitive to losses. Something about like we have to survive. We need the resources we need. We've got this amount and we're about to lose some of our resources. So we don't know if we can survive now based on this new sort of set of less resources. So scarcity is deeply wired into us. And we're really motivated to avoid costly sacrifices, losing something of value.
Interesting, most people actually joining like cults, like if they're early years, come in with very little. It's funny that people who join in their 50s aren't selling all their houses to go join these cult communes and all push it in together. But young people, because that's too costly. And they probably see the sucker who hasn't worked an honest day in his life being the one to benefit from everybody getting it in.
Something that can optimize scarcity is competition.
Of course.
Yep. And new scarcity. So something that's always been hard to access is not very motivating, but something that previously you've always had access to, like toilet paper during the pandemic, is suddenly very desirable.
Yeah. Never quite worked out why we all went to the toilet so much during COVID. What was it?
Yeah, so I'm running through this one. So the motivation, this is about motivating action. We need to make someone act now. Really impress on them the scarcity.
Do you think the scarcity links to exclusivity? Like, if you don't come to this group, like we're the only Christians in the whole wide world?
Absolutely. Scarcity, totally. The message we've got is for a chosen few, and there's not much of it. And
like the 144,000 thing with the JW is like you've got to get your seat.
Totally. You might miss out. Absolutely. Salvation theology is all about avoiding losing something of value. Eternal life. So the defense is scarcity creates panic and hinders our ability to think. Be alert to the rush of emotion when scarcity occurs.
Hijacking in your brain.
Try and calm your initial rush of emotions and independently evaluate the item, opportunity, information on its own merits.
Which I did with the Thermomix. I said, I've really enjoyed this. That's incredible. I'm going to tell my husband about it. I'm not going to say yes tonight. But by the time my husband got home and I talked to him about it, how amazing it was, the next day I did ring up and make that call.
But did you know, Lindy, that there's a nationwide shortage of Thermomix? And if you don't act in the next 15 minutes, you will miss out. Because we are Thermomix people.
Apparently, according to Liz earlier on, it's
appeal to the lever of influence, which is unity.
She called it a Thermomix family.
Yeah, to be part of this Lindy, you need to Thermomix.
Well, I have to hand over my reproductive rights.
It's a part of our shared entity. So, like the fact is that when we're in unity, we want to work together. We favour outcomes that benefit us. And so unity is a powerful lever of influence.
It is. It's sold to you as a very righteous,
positive thing to go for.
And all throughout many groups, not just cults, but many groups that really focus the we, do things to increase that by doing things together, singing and chanting.
Line dancing. You do want to be in unity. You have much more enjoyment.
And you suffer together.
You sure do.
Yeah. So you have codes of conduct, uniforms, you close ranks on corrupt members, you shut people out, you protect perpetrators.
Oh boy, I'm hearing, I'm not thinking of my Thermomix now. I'm definitely thinking of the cultic. The cultic.
But in order, we all want to be part of a group.
But you do anything to maintain unity. And so a very unhealthy group literally does do anything.
Yes. Yeah. So in terms of being a lever, it's about cultivating positive relationships. And when you feel unity being used against you as a lever of influence, you need to be sensitive to unethical or corrupt behaviour when it occurs, guard against it. And in the book, he talks about having a code of conduct for how we behave as a group. What's ethical group behaviour, and having a no tolerance policy for any violations of ethics when we use unity to harm people, to cover or enable harm.
And of course, cult leaders, they're not actually interested in. They just want to take you down with their own morals.
So I hope you have enjoyed that quick run through the 7 different influence levers that might get you to automatically act without thinking. Liking, authority, reciprocity, social proof, commitment and consistency, unity, and scarcity. And I hope that might help us all to understand a little bit of how we are influenced when we don't realise we're being influenced.
Really
How mental shortcuts, which are wonderful, can also be used unethically. And when we're in the world, we have the ability to freely step back, take a little bit of time to actually judge the decision based on its own merits, not just on that social influence lever that's been used against us. And how in cults it's almost impossible not to just be in a constant, steady stream of these very powerful influence levers that are actually just being used to exploit and weaponizing. Yeah.
Wow, that is fascinating, Kaz. Thank you. I feel a little bit more like I've cult-proofed my life against Thermomix.
So I lost a sale. Are you any closer, do you think, to joining the Thermomix family?
Not yet.
You just need to go at least to one demo, just at least one, and enjoy the amazing.
would just for you, Liz.
Right.
So
The sorbet,
likeable images.
literally the sorbet you can make from frozen fruit and a little bit of cream. It's just incredible.
I challenge you, Liz, to use all 7 of the levers of influence in a 15-minute period against Lindy. See.
I think Lindy's just a bit smart to them. She has come out of a cult herself. And so, Lindy, you are learning to cult-proof your life. Although that is really interesting, isn't it? There is such a thing as cult hopping. And so that's why we need to analyse these. What were the levers of influence persuasion that may have kept us in the group or encouraged us to join or recruited us? And am I savvy now on leaving to not actually fall into the same tricks, same routine,
Just with a different wrapping. That's very crucial.
Really interesting. Well, thanks, ladies. Really enjoyed that. Kaz, power, influence, control, obedience, and you can just use all the culty words. They all fall into place. Join us again for another episode here at Cult Chat. We're grateful for a lovely following, actually, of people who seem to be dedicated to this work. Thanks to Plains Media. Join us on social media. Send us some feedback. And don't forget to cult-proof your life.
Ka kite.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
The Glorvale Leavers support us helped our families after we left Glorvale. They helped us find a home. They helped us with clothes. They helped find us toys. They provided us with transport. We lived with almost nothing. Except 4 brothers and 7 sisters. They're kind, caring, and awesome. We want them to help more people. Please help us to help them. Give a little to this emergency welfare appeal today.
Donate today at gloryvalelevers.org.nz/donate.
If anything in today's episode was difficult or upsetting for you and you would like to talk to somebody, we encourage our New Zealand listeners to free call or text 1737 for support from a trained counsellor. Or you might like to visit the resources section of the Olive Leaf Network website, where you can find a range of organisations and resources that might be able to support you. We would also like to remind you that the views and thoughts and opinions that have been expressed in this program are the speakers alone, and Cult Chat does not necessarily endorse or share them.